How are you doing? My name is Dylan Rich, the SDR Whisperer, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to master sales in 10 minutes or less. So I'm the SDR Whisperer. I made over 200,000 cold calls in my lifetime, and we've trained and placed over 350 SDRs and appointment setters into businesses. Let's jump in. So how to master sales in less than 10 minutes. So it's going to be quick, it's going to be fast, it's going to be informational, so take some notes. The biggest thing in sales is not so much talent, but it's about having a proper sales system and process in place. With a good system and a good process, you can have B+ salespeople instead of relying totally on sales talent, which isn't the most scalable thing for your business. So what do I mean by a sales process and a sales system, right? So when someone, a prospect comes into your website, like what is their customer experience? If they fill out their information on your website, what is happening next? You need to have a system and a process to get in touch with your prospective buyer immediately. Within the first 5 to 15 minutes is your sweet spot into getting in touch with that prospect. After 15 minutes, you decrease your chances of booking that call and getting in touch with that person by over 80%. 80% after 15 minutes. So you need to have a proper system and process in place to have a touch point with that person within 15 minutes. You're probably spending a lot of money getting that person to your website to fill out their information. Once they do it, this is when you actually need sales to begin, right? Right then and there. A couple of ways that you'd be able to do that. Setting up automated text and emails for anyone that fills out their information. So as soon as they fill out their information, you have an email confirmation. Hey, thanks for filling out your information. How can we help? Here's a case study. Here's some additional information. And then after that, you send a text message saying, hey, this is blank from blank company, right? Just sparking a conversation. If you have the headcount, if you actually have a sales team, you should have your appointment setter or SDR call that person within 5 to 15 minutes, get them on the phone, qualify that prospect, and then book them on the calendar. Customer experience is massive in sales. After they have that booked meeting, what happens between the time they book the meeting and the time the meeting actually occurs? You need to have touch points. Have an email confirmation of their appointment being set. Have reminders leading up to the day. How we do it is 2 days before, email, day before, text message with a reply yes to confirm your attendance. And then 35 minutes before the meeting, we have a manual or an automated text or email coming from the salesperson themselves saying, hey John, this is Dylan with the SDR Whisperer. Really looking forward to our call in about 35 minutes. If it's an enterprise type sale, you want to add an agenda. So what is going to be covered on that call? This is going to set the table with the prospect. They know what they're getting into, as well as it opens them up to put questions on that agenda. So you say, this is the agenda for our call. John, is there anything that you'd like us to add to this, or anything that you need to know on this call to make an educated decision on our product or our service? Have touch points with the prospect throughout the entire sales process. So as soon as they enter your ecosystem, once they book a meeting, in between the time they book a meeting to the meeting occurring, now this is when the touch points need to be personalized. So after that first call, that discovery call, that demo call, you need to have email go out same day of that demo. I just gave you 30 minutes of my time. Send a recap email. Hey John, thank you for your time. Here's a recap of everything that we discussed. If you went over pricing, add a proposal, as well as take good notes during that call and add specific relevant information that you already spoke about to show them that you are listening and actually understanding their problems and how your company is going to provide a solution to their needs. Once you send that follow-up, you should have a second call on the books if the call did already close and a one call close. Always have a second step after that first call. So put another call on the calendar and always understand why the second call. Don't just do it because I said to do it, right? Or anyone else says to do it. Actually make a relevant next step. So in the end of your calls, ask them, like, what is the next step here? What needs to be discussed internally? What are the factors for making a decision? Once you understand their buying process, then craft a next follow-up stage. Most of the time, they're gonna have to discuss it internally with their team, with a business partner, Most people don't make the decision on the first call in like the majority of the sales process. So understand their needs, and then based off of that timeline, so they have to talk to their business partner. Great, when is that conversation with your business partner? When do you guys usually meet on a weekly basis? From there, make sure they have all the information for that second call. Schedule a second call once they've had a chance to discuss, so they know that that next call is the call where they're going to talk about moving forward or not moving forward. Once you have that second call in the books, that is the make or break call. If you need to have someone else, like your boss or whoever, on that call to get that thing over the finish line, make sure you're communicating that internally. Once that second call happens, if they close, you need to then relay the information of that prospect to your customer success team or whoever's doing operations and fulfillment. The prospect should be hearing the same messaging from the minute that they came into your ecosystem to the minute they sign on the dotted line. You need to be in alignment with what each department and each person is saying and how you're portraying your product or your service. The salesperson shouldn't oversell, and then when they actually become a client, the customer success person is like, well, yeah, we don't actually do that. They're like, well, Scott, my salesperson said that's a thing, that's why we move forward, right? You need to make sure that there's congruency inside of your organization for the sales pipeline. So what happens if they don't buy? That is the most ideal situation, right? They fill out their information, your appointment setter calls them, qualifies them, puts them on a discovery call. Discovery call goes great. You have a second call, they close, they become a client. Awesome. That is an ideal situation. You and I both know that that doesn't happen all the time. Only 1% of buyers are ready to buy at any given point, right? So the majority will fall into that 99%. But that being said, in that 99%, those 99% will fall into that 1%. It's up to you as a sales company and as an organization to keep your company top of mind for that buyer. So when it is their right time to buy, they know that they're going to come to you. So how do you do that? Nurturing and segmentation. So inside of your CRM, you need to make sure that you are segmenting and classifying each prospect dependent on what you've had conversation-wise to that point. So usually you can use BANT, budget, authority, need, and timeline. Use that as a disqualification process. So if it's a budget problem, you should be following up in regards to budget, right? So at the end of the quarter, hey John, do you guys have new budget for something like this? Keep up to date on the company news. Maybe they just got a round of funding. Perfect timing to re-engage, right? Or if it's authority, you need to go up the organization chart and find the actual decision maker, right? Don't pitch the digital marketing manager, the marketing intern on your 10,000 a month process. That's never gonna work, right? You need to talk to the correct person. If it's a no need, that's probably gonna be your most low value task. Throw them into like a 30-day nurture email sequence. Timeline. Timeline is the sexiest of the disqualification. So timeline essentially means that they're very interested in your service. It's gonna be a good fit. It's just not the right time, right? So that's that 99.1%. So what you need to do is to be like, damn, this guy didn't close, on to the next one. Absolutely not. Like, you've got them so close. You just need to align with their timing, right? Timing is everything in business. So follow up with them every 7 to 21 days, right? Depending on how near that timeline is, and make sure you have an actual understanding of that timeline. Set tasks, snooze your Gmail. Big life hack right there. Hit the snooze button, snooze the email to that time. You'll get an email notification on that date of the conversation. Great reminder, and you're already in the platform to send them a follow-up email. So that's how to master sales in under 10 minutes. Don't rely on sales talent. Actually create a sales system and process so the buyer is having a great customer experience throughout the buyer's journey, coming into your ecosystem, discovery call, demo, close, and actually becoming a client with your product or service. Go get them.